G'day, it's Steve here and welcome to Fortress Learning. In this bite-sized tutorial, I'm going to talk about the process of mapping units of competency to assessment instruments and learning plans and why the mapping is so important. For many people, competency mapping is a confusing process because they don't really understand its purpose and how helpful it really is. Competency mapping is a process that's all about recording how and where the content of a unit of competency has been covered in the training and/or the assessment. Because a person cannot be deemed competent against a unit of competency unless all the criteria have been satisfactorily demonstrated, competency mapping provides an easy way to plan and check that all performance criteria, foundation skills, performance evidence, and the knowledge evidence will be delivered and included in the assessment process. The competency map is usually presented as a simple table that lists all the assessable criteria as well as the assessment instruments that will be used to assess them. In this example, you can see that the table lists the performance criteria, performance evidence, knowledge evidence, and the foundation skills from the unit of competency that's being assessed. The table also identifies the two assessment instruments that will be used to assess the criteria, which in this example is questions and direct observation. The next step in the mapping process requires each of the assessable criteria to be mapped to the assessment instrument that will be used to assess them. In this example, you can see that performance criteria 1.1 through to 1.4 will be assessed via observation, and the specific task number has been listed in the observation instrument column. The mapping also identifies that the performance evidence, as identified from the assessment requirements document, is being addressed by the same 4 observable tasks. Now, these are not additional tasks because the performance evidence criteria must be included when assessing the performance criteria. The competency map here also identifies the specific questions that will be used to assess the knowledge evidence, and they're listed in the questions instrument column. Finally, the competency map also identifies where the foundation skills have been included in the assessment tasks. Finally, the competency mapping document can be used as a visual resource to check that all the assessable criteria have been linked to an assessment method. Based on this mapping document, the assessment instruments can now be confidently developed knowing that all criteria will be assessed. Competency mapping also plays an important role in the design and delivery structure for your training content. Just like the assessment competency map, the training competency map lists the criteria of the unit being delivered. But this time, the competency map identifies when the content will be covered during the delivery of the course. As you can see here, the competency map identifies which criteria will be delivered to the learners in each of the sessions. The training competency map can be used to ensure that everything has been delivered and that there are no gaps in the training. This document can then be used to help develop the learning program schedule. Thanks for watching, and if a career as a trainer in vocational education is something you're interested in, contact Fortress Learning to see just how you can get started.